today what we're going to do is we're going to look at 8a again, and we're going to apply properties of positive and negative exponents. Right? And we're looking at, in specific, quotients. Right? We're going to do day 1 today, and then we'll do day 2 tomorrow. Now, we're going to do this first section the long way. You're not going to do it your homework this way, but I'm showing you why these rules work. Too many times we memorize rules for a test and we don't really understand why they work. And then when we get to a standardized test, an NWA or an MCA, it's like, oh my goodness, I forget the rule, right? So you'll be able to get the rule. So if I take a look at number 1 and I take a look at the numerator, how many 6s do I have? I've got 4, don't I? So I'm going to write this out as 6 times 6 times 6 times 6. So I got 4 of them. And in the denominator, how many 6s do I have? I got 3. So 6 times 6 times 6. And notice there's multiplication in the whole thing. This only works if there's multiplication. If there's addition, this doesn't work. Right? So do you remember in elementary school when you reduced fractions? Do you remember you're like boop, 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 and you're like cross out happy? Some of you do, some of you don't. It's okay. Remember, if it's in the numerator and the denominator, I can cancel it when it's hooked with multiplication. So I'm going to cross out 1 here and 1 here. 1 in the numerator, denominator, 1 in the numerator and denominators. And so I'm left with 1 6, correct? So my answer ends up being 6, and I'm done. Because I have 1 left over in the numerator. Okay. All right, let's keep going. Look at the next one. So notice this next one, it's -2, and notice that it's in parentheses. So how many -2's do I have in my numerator? 8. How many in the denominator? 3. Right? So then I can cross them out. This is what's kind of fun. Boop, 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 boop. So how many -2's do I have left over? 5. So it's -2 in parentheses to the 5th power. Okay, let's take a look at this next one now. We learned this rule yesterday that when I have 2 numbers with the same base and different exponents, what do I do with them? I add my exponents, don't I? So this is 4 to the 8th, because 2 plus 6 is 8, over 4 to the 4th. So how many 4's do I have in the numerator? 8. And how many in the denominator? That's right, there's 4. Love these rules. And then we get to cross out. Boop, 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 boop. How many 4's do I have? 4 to the 4th. Now, when you do your homework tonight, I'd make sure that you have your notes out, because it's going to help you with how to do some of these. Right? This next one can be kind of trouble for students. Right? Notice it's 1 over y to the 9th, yes? Okay, this next one, it's just y to the 12th. So what number is technically underneath it? Yeah, there's a 1. So I put it over 1. And then I bring it together. So 1 times y to the 12th is y to the 12th. And y to the 9th times 1 is y to the 9th. So make sure you bring them together. And of course I have 12 y's. Thank goodness for these rules, because they're tedious, aren't they? And then we cross them out. And I end up with what? How many y's do I have left over? 3, so it's y to the third. So when in doubt with these rules, you could always do this and figure out what the rule is. Gesundheit. Right. This is called the quotient of powers property. And if I look at what we just did, if I have 6 to the fourth and I have 6 to the third, what do you think the rule is going to be? Subtract what? The exponents. Yeah, whenever I have bases that are the same and I have exponents, all I need to do is subtract them. So 4 minus 3 is 1, so I get 6 to the 1. Okay, I've got 8 and I got 3, and I subtract it and got negative 2 to the fifth. Okay, look at this next one, number 3. 4 to the second, 4 to the sixth, I added it, right? And then 8 minus 4 gives me 4. Okay, I go ahead on number 4 and I multiply it across, and I get y to the 12th over y to the 9th. I subtract them and I get y to the third. Okay, so this is what it looks like when you actually do your assignment. So you're going to write down the original problem. Okay, the bases are the same, right? I've got 4 6's in the numerator and 3 6's in the denominator. How many more do I have in the numerator? 1 more, so it's 6 to the first, or just 6, and you're done. That's all the work you need to do on your homework. Here's the next one, negative 2. How many more do I have in the numerator? 5. So the negative 2 has to be in parentheses. Why? Because it's negative to the 5th power, and I'm done. Number 3, when you do these, bring them together first. So I get 4 to the 8th over 4 to the 4th. Make sure you do that first. And then I subtract them and get 4 to the 4th. Make sure you're taking notes. There's a handful of you out there, you're not taking notes, and then you're going to be like, I don't know how to do this. And remember, y to the 12th is over. It's over 1. Don't forget to include that. And I end up with y to the over y to the, and then you subtract it and get y to the third. So there's a little bit more work in number 3 and 4. So you write down the problem, you bring it together, and then you subtract them. Okay. Let's go to the next one. All right, now, when you write these, they look kind of funny. Make sure that when you write these on your paper, the fraction bar, you use the line on your paper. The numerator goes in the top space, the denominator goes in the bottom space, and it looks like this. Okay, I just want you to know that they are the same. Now, if you remember yesterday when we did things, remember you had a problem like this? Remember that? What did you do with the 5? Yeah, you distribute it. So you had r to the 5th times s to the 5th, right? Same thing with this, but rather than multiplication, there's division, right? So it's going to look like this. We're going to get r to the 5th over s to the 5th. And you'll notice on the s, I put a little line like a belt. So the s and the 5 don't look alike. Okay, let's look at number 2. It looks like this. Now, what do you notice about the 4? So it has to have what? It has to have parentheses. Now, they will be happy with this for today. Sometimes we have to go further. When in doubt, you can ask me or check your answers in the back of the book. Okay. If on a test you take it one step further, as long as it's correct, I won't count it wrong. If it's incorrect, then I would. Questions? Okay, that's it for today. Your assignment then is going to be on page 498. You're going to do 3 through 28, 38 through 40. Again, don't just write the problem down, find the answer, and just write it down. I want the work in between to see your steps. Because your work is just as important, if not more so, than the answer for me. All right, let's open up our books then. I'll help you get started.